The NFL draft is just around the corner, so is it time for us to do another 7-round Bengals mock draft? Not an ESPN reaction, but our own one here at Chat Sports. If that's something you want, then like today's video. The more likes we get, the more likely it is something we'll do this week. Let's go to Tyler Boyd and his potential future moving forward. The Steelers and Boyd had been heavily linked all offseason long, the interest, etc. Certainly sounds like at this point it is unlikely he'll join Pittsburgh. Here's what Mark, I think it's pronounced Kaboly. If I got that wrong, I'm sorry, but I also kind of doubt Mark's watching because, why would he be watching a Bengals show? Anyway, he wrote, I would say it would be a long shot at best that the two sides come together. From what I have been told, Boyd was extremely interested in the Bengals in Pittsburgh at the beginning of the free agency process, but the offer wasn't something he was comfortable with. I'm pretty sure the ship with the Steelers has sailed. From a selfish perspective, I hope he's not a Steeler, because then I got to cheer against him, and I know you guys all do as well, almost every week, because you don't want him and his team to have success because they are rivals. So I hope he goes somewhere else. Other teams that the Athletic said were interested early on in free agency might not still be interested, by the way. The Chiefs, they got Hollywood Brown. The Chargers actually do make some sense with a need at receiver. Dolphins, maybe, but they're not going to offer much money in free agency. Lions, I think there's some overlap there with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Niners, I don't know if they need a receiver either. So here's what I'm saying. What if the market's bad? What if it's a bad market for Tyler Boyd and he's not getting big offers? At that point, maybe if we're talking like he's getting no more than $2 or $3 million offers, which may or may not be the case, maybe he just goes back to Cincinnati? Isn't that in the range of outcomes, however low it ends up being? Now, at this point, I would assume that he likely signs after the NFL draft, and the Bengals do spend a day 2 pick on a wide receiver. It might get into the do we even want him back conversation. Boyd has begun to show the signs of decline. And actually, not even begun. It's been kind of consistent. He even had some drop issues this past year. I think will raise red flags for teams. And for Cincinnati, they do have to prep the long term. Obviously, Jamar Chase is not going to go anywhere. We shall see about T. Higgins next season. They drafted Andre Yoshivas and Charlie Jones. They brought back Trenton Irwin. If they do draft a round 2, round 3 guy in a loaded class, probably not even room for Tyler Boyd. So I think that although it is still possible, seems pretty unlikely depending on what happens later this month in the NFL draft. So what do you think is the % chance that Tyler Boyd comes back and returns to Cincinnati? It is the pinned comment on today's video. If the ad comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's go to another player who has been linked to the Bengals heavily. That's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. USA Today listing him as a top free agent target for Cincinnati, which, okay. Frankly, this is the Joe Burrow-LSU connection. That's why this is being made. CEH as a first-round pick, we can call it what it is. He's been a bust. He has not been nearly good enough, nearly impactful enough to justify the amount of draft capital that was spent on him. And the Chiefs are looking at J.K. Dobbins. I don't think he's back in KC. Wherever he signs, so again, we're talking cheap, 1-year deal, maybe not even much guaranteed money, and you're probably going to try to force Edwards-Helaire to earn a job. Now, the Bengals could have interest, again, I would say more likely after the upcoming NFL draft. Because they could take somebody in early day 3. They got a bunch of picks. They spend a 5th-round pick, 4th-round pick on the back again. There's no need for Edwards-Helaire at that point. You have Zach Moss. You have Chase Brown. You can let your draft pick, Trayvon Williams, and even Chris Evans fight for 1 to 2 spots in that backfield. You shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way for sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. That includes Reds games, which had some drama-filled performances as they tend to seemingly do as of late. FC Cincy games are not as expensive as they've been in the past. Concerts, you can go to Cincinnati Cyclones. Well, I guess you got 2 more games for that for the regular season. But at least those games have cheap drinks and food, etc. So download the Game Time app. Use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. That's CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, for $20 off. Always keep an eye out for zone deals as well. The Mets-Reds game later this week. You better go do it now because there were 2 left in the zone deal. So you're kind of getting out of time on that front there. But you can save 20%. And you can get big-time savings. For the zone deals, you pick the section, Game Time picks the seats. Big-time savings in the process. The link and that promo code, gametime.co, chat sports respectively, will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. The ad comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there and and go check it out. Gametime.co, promo code ChatSports. Another free agent linked to the Bengals, again, per USA Today, was Stephon Gilmore. And this one actually might make the most sense of all the things we discuss on today's show. The Gilmore market, and frankly, the cornerback market in general, has been fairly quiet. Some players have signed, but relative to other positions, it's a little bit deeper in terms of the veteran options out there. Among the notable names, Gilmore, Xavier Howard, Steven Nelson, Akello Witherspoon, Patrick Peterson, and Levi Wallace, Rock Ya-Sin, Adoree Jackson, CJ Henderson. I threw in Eli Apple as a half joke, half serious name in terms of depth. There are several players who were at least number 2 or number 3 corners still available on the market. Now, again, as you get closer to the draft, the more likely it is those guys wait to sign, because the last thing they want is, through the Bengals specifically, Stephon Gilmore signs for a 1-year deal, 5, 6, whatever it is, $1 million per year, thinks he's going to be CB2, and then they draft somebody in the 3rd round. And now he's kind of like, maybe I'm not going to play as a big role. And that could be true for any team, maybe even less so for the Bengals, who don't like playing young guys in secondary when they can avoid it. But I think Gilmore would make sense. He played fairly well for Dallas last year. And after you had issues this past year with just being in the right place in your secondary and just the mental mistakes that were happening, I think adding a veteran makes sense. I'm excited about Cam Taylor-Britt. I love Mike Hilton. I have belief in DJ Turner long-term, but he's also a bit unproven and was really inconsistent as a rookie, as to be expected. And your depth is thin. DJ Ivey and Allen George, you need a 4th corner. You do. I don't think Ivey's ready to handle that load. And if you generally don't like playing young guys, well, then maybe you should sign a veteran to help fill that potential backup spot or even starter spot. So do you want Stephon Gilmore? Y for yes, N for no. Get your answers in for me. Where else but the comments section? A trade idea now from Bleacher Report, as they were trying to fill the biggest weakness for each team. Like, it's receiver. Is it actually? Their idea was going after one Tyler Lockett for Cincinnati. Here's what Bleacher Report argued. Head coach Zach Taylor sees Higgins in the team's future plans, but the 4-year receiver may want to chase a big money multi-year extension elsewhere. As a solution, Bengals could trade him and acquire a veteran on a cheaper deal in a separate transaction. So first off, here we go again. I feel like we probably should have mentioned the trade request in that article, kind of like ignoring that to a certain extent. Look, don't expect a T. Higgins trade. I don't foresee the Bengals doing that unless they get blown away by a trade offer. We're talking A.J. Brown deal, probably plus, which I don't think you're going to get. If you get it, okay, different conversation, but I don't foresee that happening. Now, the trade idea from Bleacher Report for Lockett was a simple 5th-round pick, is all Seattle gets back. Now, even if I had Higgins, I would probably do that trade because that is nothing for Tyler Lockett. That is still a very good football player who can help a team out in significant fashion, who, by the way, is only owed like $5-ish million from the new team, which is a problem we will get to here momentarily. But first, would you do that trade? T for you trade for Lockett for a 5th-round pick. P for you'd pass on him. Sound off for me in the comments section of today's show right now. Now, the flip side here of this Tyler Lockett conversation, and I'm using the metrics here from our good friends over at Over the Cap. Different numbers on Spotrac, but Over the Cap is normally better. This is not going to happen because Seattle has restructured the contract of Tyler Lockett. And trading him would cost Seattle $12.78 million in dead money. So, which by the way is a loss of about $9 million. Because I think the difference here basically is there's some prorated signing bonus stuff that had gotten left out of some previous conversations on the Spotrac side. The Seahawks just restructured his contract. They are not trading him. It's not going to happen. It does not make sense in any capacity for Seattle. I guess the research wasn't quite done properly from that perspective. We will have more Bengals videos that are properly researched for you here on the channel. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out.